fellow YouTubers. So, well, I said I was going to cover this in a later video, and I am. And I had a couple questions about the suspension. So, I did lift the truck. Up front, I am rocking the Bilstein 6112's and Max Trac's upper control arms. And when I first got these, I had it set on position 7, which is next to the highest level, which would put it at 1.6 inches. And I'll be honest, I did not notice hardly any difference in lift or ride quality increase. So I was a little disappointed, and I rocked it for a little bit, and I got disappointed enough to where I went to 4-wheel parts and had them disassemble the strut, put it on position 8, and that made a big difference. The look-wise and clearance in the tires were amazing. Ride quality was definitely increased. That's where those shocks shine, is on the top clip. And I love that position ever since. If you put on position 7, you're not going to notice a big difference in anything, in look or tire clearance or ride quality. I went with the Max Trac upper control arms just because those upper control arms are good from 0 all the way up, and correct me if I'm wrong, up to 4 inches of lift. So even if I went back to stock or decided to lift this thing more, those upper control arms are here to stay. So and like I said, ride quality definitely improves on clip 8 for at least this truck. Clip 7, you're not going to get much out of it. So in the rear, and then you won't be able to see too much, but rocking the Icon shocks. So I did those first, and big difference. You kind of get that whiplash effect with trucks, where if there's something in the street and you jerk one way and then jerk back, you can kind of feel the rear end is trying to play catch up. With those shocks on, definitely a big improvement in that. Then after that, I went with the Icon lifted springs. If you notice, that's a dual rate spring. So on the bottom half, that looks like a stock spring. Top half starts looking more like a heavy duty, so you get a dual rate spring, which gives you a softer ride than stock. But once you start getting it loaded up, it'll start to get stiffer once it gets into that dual rate or into the higher compression area of the spring. It's going to stiffen up the ride a little bit. And the reason when I went with these springs, one, they advertised 1-inch lift for the Rebel, and I got exactly that. No false advertising there. And man, this rear end is butter smooth. It's a little stiff in the front, which is fine. It's an improvement over stock, and it is plush as hell in the rear. It is, which is kind of what you want. I don't haul a ton of stuff. I do it every once in a while, but you don't want a super stiff spring if you're not hauling much, because it'll give you that 3/4 ton ride, which not a whole lot of us are fond of. But I can't say enough about the rear end, how much that ride has improved. Love it a lot. Sorry, I got my wife's car in the way, but that's about what the stance looks like. The rear is slightly higher than the front, but that's exactly what I want. I didn't want it completely level, so if I go camping or off-roading, I don't want to, if I got the rear end loaded up, I don't want to be looking up at the sky too much. The hood on these things is bulgy enough. You don't want more of that in the way when you're articulating and going over stuff. But there you go, short and sweet. Installation for the rear, super easy. A few tools, a jack, and some brain power, and you're good to go. Front, I would recommend taking that to a garage. You could probably do it yourself, but you still need an alignment. But definitely probably want a professional put that on, unless you're very handy. And rear, super simple. Have a good day.